On this podcast, we talk about the books, both old and new, that are worth putting on your to-be-read list. I'll include the back cover synopsis, content warnings, as well as my pro and con list. To avoid any spoilers, head over to my Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these books. Let's jump in for the day. Today we're going to be talking about Falling in Love with the Man of My Nightmares by Camilla Evergreen, which is the fourth book in her series that's paranormal. And you know, I always say read books in order, but this one needs to be for sure. The author does a great job recapping if you want to read it as a standalone, but there will be character cameos where you're just going to want to hug these characters, and you won't have that feeling if you've never read the other books in the series. So read it in order. Always order. I don't understand people that don't. Anyways, the back cover synopsis says, "He's the current bane of my existence and the hot monster haunting my dreams. Maybe if he weren't also the single father of one of my students, I'd be okay with the evening jaunts into the skankier parts of my subconscious, even though nothing ever goes anywhere. I mean, a private elementary school teacher has to relieve stress somehow, right? Unfortunately, the growly, grumpy man isn't just a parent my brain reimagines with fangs and claws. He's also possibly abusing his daughter, or part of a cult, or really, really awkward, and sweet, and smart, and hopelessly attractive, and, well, and fey. This is a dual point of view fantasy paranormal monster rom-com with the miscommunication trope and a found family. The intimacy is high, for sure. Still close door, but high, because they discuss quote-unquote ravishing. There are kisses, other places in the mouth, and there is, and I wasn't sure whether to put this in violence or intimacy, but I'm going to put it in intimacy because there is like sexualized biting and choking, because the violence was super low, it's just like fantasy-esque stuff, but like biting and choking is violence. I don't know, wasn't sure where to put it. There you go, now you know. No language, just made up ones, or it says like he swore kind of a thing. As far as triggers, there's past trauma, discussion of abuse, kidnapping, anxiety, and other neurodivergent things. And the big, I guess not big, the only con I had with this story was the miscommunication, because now, did Willow crack me up agreeing to the cat? Absolutely. Did it leave him space for when he said, "We may not be married, but you're my wife"? Oh, yes. So I'm not really against it, but with how smart both of these characters are, it was a little bit irritating that they couldn't just finish a whole conversation to figure it out. But I did love how much longer this book was, so I guess it was a con-ish. I don't know. Anyway, on to the pros. First of all, it's a dual point of view. You got the male main character's perspective in this one, which was super wonderful. The movie nights continued. Loved that. What I called the deeper stuff, so like the meaning of Pollux's last name, I want to let you look that up yourself. I thought that was fun. And it was funny. It was definitely a rom-com, because it says, "I'm severely allergic to stepping on toes." I think most of us could raise our hands and be like, same. It says, "Just so you know, I've decided that I identify as not only a problem, but also a fairy. And if you thank me, I will take your soul away to my little fairy house and put it in a cute little bed and care for it forever." Oh. I love it. There's also the grammatical comfort, my single solace. There they are. Every time I see that kind of a quote on shirts or in books, it just makes me giggle. I'm not a word person like that, but I understand people that are, and it's very funny. It says, "Are you well? Well, on my way to a breakdown? Sure." Because I feel like that with summer approaching. We stayed at the bookstore for a perfectly reasonable few hours. I think I was a little offended that no one invited me on this reasonable time frame at the bookstore. Take me with you next time. And when Pollock said, "I'd make the call myself, but you're more well-spoken than I am, and I don't want to." Because does anyone actually enjoy making phone calls? I don't think so. The last quote was, "Act responsibly while in the absence of a reliable adult." "Hey, Alexios stated. She turned on her heel. "I said what I said." Because, really, reliable adult. Read the other books, you'll know why. And here's a thing. I had a hard time calling it heartwarming because that felt like a weird term for a monster rom-com. But with his level of like protectiveness, I guess is the best word. Like it felt like heartwarming because it was like a good relationship and it felt safe because it says, "She said no. Get out of my sight before I string your entrails around the front lawn." Because it's like, that's a weird thing to say. But also it's like that kind of protectiveness, having like that kind of guy on your side. Like I can see that being like super heartwarming. Also the quote that says, "After a lifetime without you, one day is too long." Like that just so cute. Because the quote that said, "Forgive me. That is too adorable for words, and it feels like my brain is shutting down." I felt like that so many times in this book where I was just like, okay, now I just need to sit here and process the adorableness. And here's another one for good relationships. It says, "If I were ever annoyed with you, dearest, I would not let it come between us and how much I care about you. I would not make you guess at the origin of my irritation either. We would discuss it because your peace is important to me." And if you want to talk healthy relationships, like that's it. Like that is it. It also has beautiful fairy beliefs because we all need to convince Camilla to make this a real place. So the first one, it says, "People should not be made to fit into spaces. Spaces should be large enough to fit people. Your feelings matter. The ones you've been taught are unsavory have purpose. We do not shame beautiful things like too much love or excitement. We even have a high tolerance for too much mischief. The only things we need to reassess are the ones that harm." And I think that is fabulous, beautiful. And this one, talk about relationship advice. "How can you love someone who doesn't even know who they are? I adore the potential of whatever you might become. A love based on anything that can be quantified is fickle. People grow, they learn, they incorporate new knowledge into their characters. My love is not a conditional sort you will ever need to concern yourself with losing as you adapt and find the person you want to be." Seriously, relationship standards, people. This is it. He also gave her 2 rules. The first one was no forced smiles, and the second was saying what you mean, because it says, "We're taught that people who aren't smiling have resting bad word face. Not smiling is a literal cause for derogatory labeling. It's okay to assume that people who aren't smiling don't like you, are mad. Who knows? All because they don't lift the corners of their mouth correctly and constantly. Being a human is exhausting." And I feel that, like, deep inside, that one just resonated where it's like, it's okay if you don't walk around with a smile plastered on your face all day. Like, it's okay. So that one just hit kind of home for me. Also, the one that says relationship or friendship is an agreement that doesn't erode. It doesn't need to be maintained. It's a quiet knowledge that people will be there for you if you need them, just as you might return the sentiment in their time of need. because now that I'm, in my 30s with a family, sometimes I will go weeks without talking to my best friend, but it's like I knew if I needed something, she would be there. Like, you don't have to maintain, you don't have to text constantly, you don't have to do big things. You just know that they're there. And I think that's really cool. Also, my favorite part, and the one I told my husband that I was going to start implementing, was I fail entirely to see why it's inappropriate for someone to have a comfort item with them regardless of their age. Comfort seems almost necessary outside of their comfort zones, which would usually be in public. So it's like, don't judge adults walking around with their, comfort items. Like, really. Sometimes society is hard. And I think these, not rules, but these ideas and beliefs that Fairy has is just so amazing. And I think that's why so many of us are drawn to Camilla's books and series, especially this one. Because it's an amazing idea of the way life could be if we all got on board. So I really loved this book. I will be honest, I was a bit nervous about this book, like monster rom-com and like a quote-unquote skank. Like, I was worried, but like I should know better by now. Like, Camilla she writes steamy closed doors, sure. But it doesn't go beyond that, and I appreciate that, so that I can read these really amazing books, but still feel comfortable with the closed door romance. Anyways, she also managed to use my least favorite trope again and still have a 5-star review from me. So obviously she is talented and we love her books, and I'm sure that you'll jump over to Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela and tell me that you love these books too, because she's wonderful and I haven't met anyone who disagrees with me. So I'll see you over on Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. Have a great day.